Hey y'all, what's up? What's up? What's up? This is Paul, your hip hop relationship and recovery coach, and I'm bringing to you another Kick Your Butt Out episode. As usual, y'all, before I get off into the content of the day, I want to say, I have to take this opportunity and say what I always say, and I strongly encourage you to get this into your thought process so that you can incorporate this into your lives. And that is, if you're looking for a butt, it's going to always be easy to find one. And that, my friends, is a promise. All right. Let's get going. Today, I want to have some conversation. Wait a minute, let me get a little water. I want to have some conversation about opportunity. And in this conversation, I'm going to use some situations as examples of what can happen if we don't take advantage of the opportunities, and also some examples of what can happen when we take advantage of the opportunity. And so, with that being said, today, the title of today's episode, or the inspiration for the title around today's episode, it obviously is from God, and it's called "You Have the Opportunity, but..." Let me say that again. You have the opportunity, but, and even in the title, if those of you out there who are listening, even in the title, when you think about the title of today's episode of Kick Your Butt Out, you can look back on times or situations or circumstances that you had the opportunity to do X, Y, Z, A, B, C, or whatever the case may be, and you took the butt. I've done it. We've all done it. And this here is designed around how can we turn this thing around? Because here's what somebody says about opportunity. How can we turn this thing around and take advantage of the opportunities? Because, and I'll get to what somebody said, because one of the things that I've learned in taking advantage of the opportunities is there's always growth. There are always blessings. There are always next levels on the other side of taking advantage of the opportunity. It's always. So with that being said, somebody said it to me like this. Eric Thomas, let me say it like that. Eric Thomas, he talked about, and even Les Brown heard him say it as well. They talked about how opportunity has a window, or opportunity has a door. God opens up windows and doors for opportunity, and I want you to understand, or I want to say what the scripture says about doors and windows. The Bible says that, what God has shut, no man can open, and what God opens, no man can shut. And that means that, some doors of opportunity or windows of opportunity, they close at some point. And it's important for us to realize that, because some of us, and I've been guilty of that as well, some of us take for granted, right, that the opportunity is going to be there forever. And God wouldn't have said, now is the acceptable day of the Lord, accept him while he may be found, if opportunity lasted forever. And so, again, this particular episode is to talk about opportunity, the windows of opportunity, the doors of opportunity, the advantages of opportunity, or the disadvantages of not taking it, of not going into the door or the window of the opportunity when that time presented itself. And so let's go ahead and get off into the content. It's amazing how I be getting where I get my examples from, because the examples that I'm going to use today, I actually got them from a particular show that I watch on Investigation Discovery, on the Investigation Discovery channel, and the show is called Fear Thy Neighbor. Now, this has absolutely nothing to do with fearing your neighbor. Let me say that. Let me make sure that I get that out there. This has absolutely nothing to do with you having fear for your neighbor. It does have everything to do with we should have fears about missing the opportunities that God put before us. And in those particular episodes of Fear Thy Neighbor, what the common thing that happens is that you all have, someone lives in the neighborhood is tranquil, everybody is getting along, whatever the case may be, and then you'll have someone else move in the neighborhood, and at first they're getting along, they get this warm welcome, this, that, or the other, and then for whatever reason, there's a blow up. There's a crash. There's arguments. There are contentions. There's battles. There's many things that end up going on, and a lot of times that's what we contend, and that's one of the reasons why I'm going to use this as an example, because a lot of times we find ourselves in places and situations where we are contentious or contending with the opportunities. We're fighting against the opportunities. We are arguing with the opportunities. We are battling against the opportunities, because where we are, more often than not, is usually more comfortable than taking advantage of or walking in the opportunity. Now, I'm going to take a sidebar and give you a nugget right quick before I continue. And I want to say that I want to mention arguments. For all you out there who are argumentative, right? Here's what I found, and here's what I was told. There's only one thing wrong with an argument, and that is you don't know who the fool is. That's the only thing that's wrong with the argument. I'm going to say that again. There's only one thing wrong with an argument, and that is you don't know which one is the fool. So again, that's a small little nugget I wanted to drop out there. Let me get back to the content that I want to talk about today. So in watching some of these episodes of Fear Thy Neighbor, again, you have some neighbors moving to the neighborhood, some that was already there. Things are blissful and all of those kind of things going on at first, and then something happens in the end, and there's a crash. And more often than not, one of the things that I see that's common in those contentions and arguments and battles is that they're usually battling because of a misunderstanding, because of something they don't understand, right? Or because of something stupid or petty. Now, why did I say that? Well, many times when we don't take advantage of the blessings of the opportunities that God gives us, right? It's because we don't, number one, we may not understand it. We may not understand it. And that's okay. Here's the bad part about it. Here's the messed up part about it. Many times in many of our lives, we're uninterested in even finding out how we could understand it. Just like some of those neighbors that were arguing and battling against each other. They were uninterested in finding out what the misunderstanding was, getting an understanding and moving forward. Same thing with us again. A lot of times we're uninterested in finding out and understanding what the opportunity is. The opportunity is taking advantage of that opportunity and moving forward. The other part about it, when I said that sometimes it's something petty or something stupid that they're arguing about, well, a lot of times when we don't take advantage of the opportunities that is put before us, we'll trade that opportunity in for something stupid or something petty, something that is not even going to move our needle, something that is not even going to help us to grow, something that's not even going to assist us in walking in our greatness or in our extraordinary potential or the blessings of God. Because one of the things you have to understand, one of the things that we all have to understand, one of the things that I want us to understand, and this is what God said to me. He said that I'm a God of position. And what that means is, in order for me to bless you, you have to put yourself in position. And the opportunities to be blessed is about where we are spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, because, again, I talked about Jonah in a couple of past episodes where he wasn't where he was supposed to be. He had the opportunity to do what God had told him to do. He had the opportunity to go where God wanted him to go, because here's the thing. Wow, thank you, God. Here's the thing. When God tells you to do something, when God gives you an opportunity, he's going to make sure that you have everything and some to get that thing done. So in Jonah's case, he had everything that he needed to do to take advantage of the opportunity and do what God told him to do. But again, he traded it in for something stupid and petty. He went and did something stupid and petty. And obviously, if you know the story about Jonah, it caused him to be in a place and in a position that he didn't want to be. And many of us can relate to that, right? Think about some of the opportunities, right, that you have, that you didn't take advantage of to move to that next level. Because many of us, all of us, not many of us, all of us have done it. And you could look back and say, wow, if I would have, if I should have, I could have, and all of these other things. And again, this is one of the reasons why I'm having a conversation about that, because it's time out for living with regret. It's time out for not taking advantage of the opportunities or doing what we can do to send us to the next level. It doesn't make many of us watch. Oh my God, thank you. Many of us, for all you old school people who are watching this podcast or this particular episode, you remember back in the days when you were playing the record on the record player and you put the arm with the needle on the record and the record played, and in some cases it was scratched and it went over and over and over and over again. That's what happens to many of us when we don't take advantage of the opportunities that God put before us. We go over and over and over. Let's take it to from a biblical standpoint. The people who walked in the wilderness for 40 years, they went over and over and over because they weren't taking advantage of the opportunities. Okay, so y'all get the picture, y'all get the point. Let me move forward. So back to the episodes of Fear Thy Neighbor. In many, if not all, of the contentions and the arguments and the battles, like I said, we want to be in contention with, argue, and battle against opportunity. We're in those contentions, arguments, and battles with one another over something stupid or something petty or something that they didn't understand. There was always an opportunity to stop it. Always. There was always an opportunity in every last one of the episodes that I watch to stop. And the same thing with each and every one of us. The Bible talks about the warning comes before the fall. There's that opportunity I'm talking about again. It was always an opportunity to stop, but because of stubbornness, because of pride, because of laziness, because of being in the comfort zone. Somebody said it. Every time I was listening to one of the 365 day devotionals last week, and in it he said the most dangerous place any of us can be is in our comfort zone, and definitely in this case, that's the most dangerous place to be because we miss opportunity due to the fact that we are comfortable with sitting in our comfort zones. So again, pride, arrogance, comfortability with being in the place and in the position that they are. They didn't want to stop. They didn't want to turn it around. They didn't want to do something else. And I've heard again in these episodes, there were times where one or somebody in the family who was the voice of reason, and again with opportunity, there's always someone who comes by who God will send, who is the voice of reason. And that voice of reason in those cases said, hey, why don't you just move? And the person's 100% of the time, the person's response was, I'm not moving nowhere. Because of pride and arrogance and all of these other things. And that's the same thing with each and every one of us when it comes, well, not each and every one of us, but with some of us when it comes to opportunities. God will send someone who is the voice of reason. And again, if you think about what I'm talking about, you can go back in your head and find some times where there was some opportunity, you weren't taking advantage of it, and somebody or something came across you as the voice of reason, but you didn't follow that voice or didn't listen to it. I've been there many times in my life. They say one of the worst things that you could do is to live on this earth with regret and end up dying with regret. I don't want you. I want to live for, like, again, Les Brown, one of my favorite. He said, live full and die empty. Meaning that I want to be filled with what I need to take advantage of the opportunities and take advantage of the opportunities. And when I leave this earth, I want to leave being gave everything that I'm supposed to give and some. And there's always opportunity for that to happen. That's the desire of my life. I want to be filled with what I need to be filled with and give it according to how God said and when God said and what God said. And when I leave this earth and go and be with him in heaven, I want it to be where I've given everything. I didn't leave here holding on to nothing, because and then I'll get back to it. But one of the things that, again, Les Brown, these are people who I listen to and they have powerful messages, right? He said, and I think Les Brown quoted it from someone else. I talked about this on one of my past episodes, and I'll say it again because this is about opportunity. He said, the ideal desire of a man is when he gets to the end of his days, or woman, to be on their deathbed at the end of their days, and to have their loved ones around them before they take their last breath and go off into wherever they're going. He said, but, watch this, here's the but. But what if standing around your bed when it's time for you to transition, what if standing around your bed all of the opportunities that you didn't take advantage of, all of the dreams, all of the visions, all of the goals, all of the desires, all of the healthy relationships, all of the business ventures, and all of these things that you could have taken advantage of, but you didn't. And they're saying to you, you had the opportunity. I had the opportunity to become this. You had the opportunity to become that. We had the opportunity to X, Y, Z, do this, that, or the other. But because you didn't take advantage of the opportunity to do what you were called to do, we got to die with you. I think that would be one of the biggest regrets for any of us to have, is to be on our deathbed and all the opportunities that we didn't take advantage of are saying, because you didn't take advantage of that opportunity to do this, I have to die with you. All right. We don't want that to happen. But again, back to the story, there were many situations and cases where someone came by with the voice of reason, and the common thing that was said was, why don't you just move? Why don't you just move? And when it comes to these opportunities, the window of opportunity or the door of opportunity, why don't you just move? Why don't you just move? Kick your butt out. Kick the, yeah, I should, but I could, but I would, but you right, but yup, but kick all of that mess out and move. Move into a place and position, right, for the opportunity that God has given you to be a blessing to you. Because at the end of the day, like I told y'all, a lot of times we pass up the opportunities because of something petty. These opportunities are something stupid. These opportunities are not designed for us to just benefit from. It's always designed for someone else to benefit from as well. So what you're saying is, so what we're saying when we don't take advantage of the opportunities that God give us is that I'm not only closing the door, let me say it like this. I'm not only allowing the door or the window of my opportunity to be closed, I'm closing it on you too. And you, and you, and you, and you, and you. Because again, God says be fruitful and multiply. Doesn't mean it doesn't always mean have a bunch of babies. I'm saying the multiplication and the fruitfulness comes from a standpoint of we are feeding other people, right? Because of the opportunities that God put in front of us. And so when we're not taking advantage of the opportunity and moving, what we are doing is we're closing the window and the doors on other people. And that's selfish. We have to stop doing it. And we have to, again, let's go take advantage of the opportunities that God put in front of us. Find out, if you don't understand what the opportunity is, do everything in your power. Man, woman, brother, sister, boy, girl, do everything in your power to get the understanding. Because the Bible says this, with all thy getting, get understanding, right? So when you get the understanding that's needed so that you can move forward in this opportunity that God put out there for you. The other thing is that I see that happens, that's common in these episodes of Fear Thy Neighbor, is because of the contentions and the arguments, right, over something petty or stupid, or because somebody don't understand, and because nobody takes advantage of the opportunity to move, to stop, to turn this thing around, to do something else, etc., etc., etc. What ends up happening is we end up doing something that we can't come back from, and or someone ends up losing their life. That's what happens. That's one of the common things that happens in those particular episodes. Someone end up doing something that they can't turn back from, and someone ends up losing their lives because they didn't take advantage of the opportunity. Now, a lot of times in our lives, because we didn't take advantage of the opportunity, we do something, say something, or don't do something, or don't say something that we can't take back. No matter how we try, we can't take it back. And more often than not, that's something that we did or said or didn't do or didn't say it was a harm or a hurt or detriment to somebody else. And even ourselves, let me say that. Because unfortunately, I got to keep it 100. Unfortunately, everybody ain't gonna make it to heaven. And it's because of missed opportunity. Let me say it like that. Let me keep going. Anyway, again, because of the fact that we didn't take advantage of the opportunities that was put before us willingly, it wasn't like it wasn't like the opportunity came and you didn't realize it was an opportunity until it left. Let me say that. Because if and when we're paying attention, right, we have our spiritual eyes and ears opened, because he says, he who has ears to hear, right? Let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches. He who has ears to hear, let him hear what the Spirit is saying to the churches. So we have spiritual ears and spiritual eyes to be able to see it. A lot of times, we're doing something stupid or petty and miss it. Now, so that we won't live with regret or do something that we can't change or turn around, because there's many situations in my life where I had to say, hey, there's nothing I can do. There's nothing that I can do to go back and change that. However, we can do right by today to create a better tomorrow. And that's how I've been living my life for the last 10 years. Do something right today so that we can create a better tomorrow. I can't go back and change something that things that I did, said, didn't do, or didn't say in terms of the opportunities. However, I'm doing what I can today, again, so that I can be a part of making a better tomorrow. So again, please take advantage of the opportunities, because you don't want to live and die with regret. You don't want to continue to be doing something that you can't change or you can't turn from. And like I said, in the cases of Fear Thy Neighbor, someone ended up doing something to someone that cost them their lives, right? And the person, after they did it, they realized, hey, I messed up, but you can't come back from that. And so we don't want to live. We don't want to live with that type of regret. That's one of the reasons why I'm doing this particular subject matter on this particular episode. Now, I talked about how people end up losing their lives. Now, from a squandering off the opportunity standpoint, or allowing the window and the doors of opportunity to close standpoint, you don't have to necessarily lose your physical life right there. But you can squander off your peace in life, your joy in life, healthy relationships in life, your calling in life. Many things in life we can actually lose the opportunity for, because we didn't take advantage of the opportunity in the time that the opportunity was available for us. And we lose a lot of life as a result of it. I use my own story. Listen, I squandered off many opportunities for healing and recovery until I was 48 years old. I'm going to say that again. I squandered off many opportunities, many windows and doors of opportunities for recovery and healing until I was 48 years old. I'm so grateful that God didn't allow me to die. He didn't say, you know what, the doors, I'm done with the doors and the windows. I've given you a many doors and many windows to save your life. And you wanted to continue, you decided to continue to do this. So I'm done. I'm glad he didn't say that to me, because for many of those years, I wanted I wanted to take advantage of the opportunities, and many of them I didn't. Many of them I was comfortable. Many of them I was uncomfortable. Many of them I was comfortable. I'm just glad I got to a place where it just was it was so uncomfortable for me. I just decided I can't take no more, and I'm gonna move. I'm gonna move. That's again almost 10 years into recovery, because I finally walked through that door and climbed in that window. And I'm asking everybody within the sound of my voice who is listening to this particular episode of Kick Your Butt Out. If that's you, or if you know somebody, again, let me say, no. In many situations, that's all of us. So what doors or windows of opportunity that God has opened that you are allowing to close because of because you won't kick your butt out? What are those? How can we help one another to get past the butt, kick the butt out? As a matter of fact, kick the butt out the window. Kick the butt out the door. Do that first so that you can be able to climb through that window and walk through that door to the opportunities of greatness, extraordinary potential, next level. I ain't talking about the next level down. I'm talking about the next level up. Walking through the windows and doors of opportunity to be who God says that you are, who God created you are. He said, I knew you before you were formed in your mother's womb. So God had already had a plan and a purpose for you. And many of us, because of our contentious mindsets and arguments and battling mindsets, we are battling against that and wonder why we squandering off opportunities. It's right there in front of you. It's right. Stop battling. Stop contending. Stop arguing with God and say, okay, God, I don't understand the opportunity. Help me to understand it so that I can walk through the doors or climb in the windows and take advantage of this. Because at the end of the day, God, I know for a fact that you have done this because you are not only trying to save me, you're trying to save somebody else. And it's time out for selfishness, people. It's time out for selfishness. I've said it a lot in past episodes. If you're paying attention to what's going on in this world right now, oh my God, it's terrible. From a political to a spiritual, all kind of standpoints, it is terrible. And we have to get it together. Everybody who is listening to this episode, please, let's work together to get it together so that we can take advantage of these opportunities that God put out there in front of us so somebody else can be helped for a change. And it's not all about you all the time. God told me that when I started this recovery and healing journey. He said to me, he said, Paul, I want you to know this, that from now on, it's about you. Here's the good but it's not about you. It's about you, getting saved from that madness, but it ain't about you. It ain't about you from a standpoint that it's all about Paul from a selfish standpoint. That's what he meant. That's what he said. And I'm hoping that somebody that's listening to this can relate to what I'm saying, and let's turn that thing around. And so again, you have the opportunity, but let's kick the butt out and take advantage of the opportunity before we be living and saying this. You had, or I had the opportunity, but we don't want to end our lives having that be said to, of, and about us. So people, listen, I love y'all so much. And there's absolutely nothing that you can do to change that. I'm asking everybody who listening to this podcast or this episode to please share, like, subscribe, talk to somebody else about it. Let's have some conversations about what are some of the opportunities that you have squandered off that we can go back, right? If there is that opportunity that we can go back or that we can move forward and walk in so that again we could be positioned to be blessed and we can position somebody else for theirs. Listen, y'all. Until next time, until the next episode of Kick Your Butt Out, I want to say this. Be well, people. That's what this is all about. Kick Your Butt Out is about helping us get well. Be well. Do the next right thing. Not what you think is right, what God says is right. Not what you think is right, because more often than not, what we think is right ain't. And I'm going to keep it 100. So do the next right thing. If you want to know what the next right thing is, it's that thing that will please God, that will show obedience to God, that will show that you love God, and it will help not only you, but somebody else. And lastly, but definitely not least, God bless you all. And if you're looking for a butt, it's going to always be easy to find one. And that, my friends, is a promise. This is Paul, your hip hop relationship and recovery coach. And I'm going to see y'all next time. Peace.